little hell.
Hi everyone, this is Gigi Kirsten and I'm back here again to talk about City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Mortal Instruments series, and this week we are tackling chapter 2 of City of Ashes, which is entitled The Hunter's Moon. Now, this chapter is pretty short, but what it lacks in length, it makes up in pure unadulterated fuckery. And without further ado, let me reveal this week's what the fuck moment, which is Jace being completely apathetic about the murder of a werewolf kid. Crime against children is my hot button topic. It's the thing that fires me up like nothing else. And I get really angry when someone tries to tackle this issue and do it with like no respect to that issue. She completely brushes off the crime itself. Not only her characters, but like her herself just brushes off this crime as, oh, just another murder, blah, 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 blah. Not caring that a child is dead and no one gives a fuck. But before I talk more about that, I'm going to set up the scene a little bit, because without getting the full picture of the scene, you won't get completely why this scene in particular is so horrible and problematic. Starts off, Jace gets kicked out of the house by Maurice, and instead of, going to Clary or going and going to Luke's house or whatever, he decides to go pick a fight at a werewolf bar, where he is not welcomed because he is, a racist asshat, like all shadow hunters. And this is basically a Ku Klux Klan member just walking into a black bar, African American bar. So he goes in, he starts picking a fight because, he's self-destructive and he's a masochist. And he just, has a death wish, I guess, and he's talking all this shit and making really racist jokes that are not even in the slightest funny. And then some guy comes in, and this guy is named Freaky Pete. And Freaky Pete witnesses the person murdering a young werewolf kid. Instead of, going and trying to stop this person, even though I think the way that Cassandra Clare phrased it, it was like he was coming at the very tail end of the murder. But even so, he didn't try to stop it. He didn't say, hey, stop what you're doing. He just runs inside and tells everybody about it. Now, it'd be one thing if he's going inside to get help from the pack. But it was pretty obvious that the pack is not going to do anything. They care, but they don't care enough to go out there, because, again, this is one person murdering a werewolf kid, and not against a bar that's packed full of werewolves. So they have like the advantage of numbers on their side. But instead of like mobbing up and going out there and kicking some ass, they're like wringing their hands and, oh, what do we do? And so they decide to turn to this shadow hunter. Aren't you going to do anything, because you're the law, right? You're going to do something, right? And he says, and I quote, "What's your problem, werewolf?" Bat's hand was still outstretched. "Are you deaf, Nephilim?" he snarled. "There's a dead boy in the alley, one of ours." "Do you mean a lycanthrope or some other downworlder?" The boy arched his light eyebrows. "You all blend together to me." Oh my God. Racist as fuck. This is the equivalent of someone seeing a person of color and saying, "You all blend together to me, and so y'all don't matter because, kill one, another one is replaced." And I'm like, what? For the people who think I'm just taking this way too seriously, I would like to do a thought exercise for you guys. Replace werewolves Replace all the supernatural elements and make this about, make the boy that was killed a black person. And he's being killed in the alleyway by somebody. And his friends and his family are like, oh my God, he's being killed. This person that I love is being killed. Let me go to the police. And the police, instead of, doing anything, they just say, he's a black person. Y'all look the same to me. One dies, he can be easily replaced. And righteously, the family and the friends would be outraged. How the whole black community would be outraged. Yet, no one is, but again, and Jace, if he wasn't a shadow hunter, if this wasn't any supernatural elements, he would be a white nationalist, a neo-Nazi, because he thinks exactly like them. That type of rhetoric, that type of attitude towards who not pure shadow hunters, oh my God, is racism and speciesism and xenophobia and everything that's fucking wrong with the world. And yet Cassandra Clare never tackles this mentality. She never calls it out for what it is. And it's right. Because the shadow hunters are, pure. So it's basically the supernatural version of white is right. Another thing that pisses me off about the scene is that instead of saying, okay, you're not going to do anything, all right, I'm going to go to my leader and make him do something. No one does that. Luke comes in and just like, oh, poor Jace, he had such a hard life. He was abused as a child. That automatically excuses every shitty thing that he does. And, tells his pack to stand down. And even if the pack wanted to confront Jace, the law does not protect them in the slightest. Because even if they go and they fight against him, they are going to be punished, not Jace. The law, the Accords, basically protect shadow hunters, but don't protect downworlders from shadow hunter violence. I don't get how there hasn't been a revolution yet. I don't get how, people haven't stand up and said, no, we're not going to take this shit. We're going to stand up. I don't understand that. Especially when it's been revealed in City of Bones that the shadow hunters numbers are dwindling. It's one of the reasons why Valentine wanted the Mortal Cup in the first place. Oh, and one more thing about the scene before I go. No one brings up this boy ever again. No one goes and tries to retrieve this boy's body. Nobody goes and tries to find and track down the person that has murdered this boy. Everyone just sits on their hands and does nothing. Yeah. Just take that in. A child is dead and no one does a goddamn thing about it. Woo boy. Believe me when I say, I wanted to throw my goddamn laptop out of the window, get on the bus, go to New York City, or rather she's in Massachusetts, go to Massachusetts and shake Cassandra Clare. Because shadow hunters and downworlders are a obvious racial allegory. More than racial, minority allegory. Shadow hunters are straight, white, cis people, while our minorities, which include people of color, LGBT people, people with disabilities, all that good stuff. And instead of, realizing what she had and doing something progressive with it and showing the shadow hunters for being, and the clay for being, bigoted assholes, and having the shadow hunter community eventually change, they never change. They just continue on, and no one's. It's just so frustrating. I got nothing else to say. I'm just so fucking disgusted. I'm done ranting because I got other crap to do. I still got 2 weeks of posts to do. I hope you guys join me again next week when I tackle chapter 3, which is entitled The Inquisitor. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Yeah.